Hey everyone, Brian from Bearable Traders, Wednesday, January 29th. Just going to do a quick market midweek recap. Lots of stuff happening today. We're in the sort of thick of earnings season. We also had some Fed speak today afternoon, and you can see how the market reacted after that Fed speak. Market really just sold right off. So the Dow, we were gapping up, sold off, came back up, and then sold off again, just barely change, not much of a change there. NASDAQ again finishing kind of flat on the day. Lots of volatility up and down, and then of course S&P down a little bit, but really negligible. So yeah, it just seems like that's where we're headed right now, in nowhere. Um, Looking at the 50 and the 200, you can kind of see we're losing a bit of ground here. Lots more declining stocks compared to advancers today. And yeah, so the extreme bullishness in this market seems to be getting tempered a bit. You can see here what's performing on the week: utilities, safety trade, some of the more risk-on trades, technology kind of in the middle of the pack there, conglomerates, utilities on the month still leaning towards combination of risk-on and risk-off utilities and technology. So it's kind of a mixed bag, which I kind of describe this market as right now. Let's take a look at some of the indexes here quickly. Transports, ugly day. You can see here, this is the trend line that the transports have been on. And you can see we tried to break through that line, come back up and challenge it, and got significantly rejected. And that's a pretty ugly candle. Again, like to see the transports do well if the indexes are going to do well, and that doesn't look good. So, as we said, Fed was out with their decision. Sounds like they're just going to stand pat, keep things the way they are, and yields keep dropping. So that TLT trade could be working out. Let's take a look at TLT. I know it really got away on me. I was talking about it on the weekend as being a possible trade, and it gapped up on Monday morning, and it just, that's the kind of trade you just got to say, okay, I missed it, and move on. So unfortunately, thought of that a little too late. So let's go back to the indexes. Not the ETFs, the indexes. Okay, so here's the Dow. We had a hollow fill candle, tried to gap up, fill this gap here. Almost, pretty much filled it if you count the tails. But we sold off, and as I mentioned earlier, we just finished just a hair above where we closed yesterday. But again, not great price action. Volume kind of average, right in the middle with the RSI. Sort of directionless. Again, we on the small caps. Small caps had a worse day. We kind of had an outside reversal day here. And volume dropping, so maybe a little more sellers than there were buyers. RSI trending lower, MACD trending lower. I would say of all of them, I think the small cap ones look the worst here. So we'll go through the rest of them. The Qs, again, gapped up, sold off, but higher on the day. SPY, gapped up, sold off, a little bit lower on the day, as we said, lost this 20 moving average. But again, none of these are they're all not very constructive looking, creating a constructive looking set of candles for a continuation move higher. It kind of looks like a bit of a pullback. We may end up just chopping, consolidating in this range, digesting this big move up that we had, and that goes for all the indexes. I still think this TINA is in effect. There is no other alternative, or there is no alternative in terms of the investment community. Like, where do you put your money? Really, the stock market is where people have been just going to park their money, because parking it in a Treasury at 1% or 1.5% isn't really making you much. So here's a dollar, looks a little tired after all this big uptrend, kind of getting into some significant area of resistance. The VIX actually, despite the fact that we kind of ended up flat on the day, the VIX actually ended up quite positive, fairly positive. So bounced off this 200-day moving average, had this nice gap up on Monday, and pulled back a bit, bounced off the 200. So I'm going to just keep an eye on the VIX. You can play that through the TVIX. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's take a look at what, actually let's go quickly in the actives. KWeb, took that from the weekend after that big Monday sell-off. OPGN, just had a little bit left. I've sold it because it just looks like it's going nowhere fast and no point in hanging on to it. OPGN, I got stopped out on it at 11, so it's done. Just kind of looks in the choppy. So sometimes it's just better to sit on the sidelines. I kind of feel like we're just going to be chopping along sideways, and I don't want to get stuck in a getting chopped up. Stock goes below my stop, gets stopped out, jumps back up again. I want to get into that kind of price action. So I'm just, sometimes, like I said, it's just better to sit on the sidelines and wait for a good opportunity to present itself. APDN, I got out of that, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it, see if we can get back down to 350, and I might look at taking an entry on it again. What did it get down today? 363. BBio, I'm keeping an eye on this. I'm still going to alert in 3560. If we can break above that. Gold, we'll talk about gold and playing nugget in a little while, but gold looks like it's ready to start to break out again. LK, I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. I'm kind of thinking it may just sort of hold around this 36 level, 3650. What did it get down to today? I think when we get some resolution on this virus thing, I think a lot of the some of these high flyers like LK will probably come back. I think it was trading a little bit in sympathy with Starbucks. Starbucks had warned about shutting stores in China and all the rest of that. So I don't think that worked out very well for LK shareholders today. So here's Nugget, nice reversal candle today. Not much volume, unfortunately. RSI right in the middle, but again, might look for a bit of a pullback tomorrow. Possibility to take an entry, and gold seems to be working in the opposite direction of the market. So when the market sells off, nugget and gold seems to go higher, and vice versa. So we'll be watching market action and maybe a way to play a market sell-off. TNA, again, you can play TZA if you think the market's going to sell off more. TNA, if you think it's going to bounce from here. I really can't tell from this candle where we're going to head. And TVIX, again, this is another way to play. If the market does reverse, you can, so talking about the volatility index VIX, if the VIX continues to go higher, this TVIX is one way to play it. We've played it in the day trading room as well as a quick day trade. Natural gas, horrible price action. We're just bottoming here, and it does look like a double bottom, but inventory numbers coming out tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern time, and we'll see what happens there. But natural gas, is just too much of it around. And like I said, if it keeps going this way, people are going to be paying consumers to use it if the rate things are going here. Pretty ugly day for oil again. Just a reflection of sort of economic outlook, global economic outlook. And if you look at this, it doesn't look very pretty. But again, as we sort of get the end of this, sort of stop seeing all the news headlines about the virus and start hearing news about maybe it being under control and not being a big issue anymore, I think oil will come back up again. But again, I think we're still in the third inning or fourth inning on the virus thing. Vero is just keeping an eye on this. I was thinking about entering it at 350, but again, I'm just I'm not keen. Actually, I'll keep an eye on this tomorrow because we've had a big run up, had a pretty significant pullback 2 days. Usually like to give it 2 days to resolve, and then maybe third day take a look at it for a bounce. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one too. Well, that's it, everybody. We've got some more reports, earning reports coming up tomorrow. We've got Amazon, big one. It's going to be the biggie, and a bunch of other ones, of course. And then we'll be dealing with Microsoft, Facebook, some of those in the morning, PayPal that have reported tonight. And again, like I said, mixed bag. So this is my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade. If you haven't checked it out. And that's it. So we'll see you if you're going to join us, Bear Bull Trading Room in the morning, 8:30 Eastern Time. We start the pre-market show. Guys go over what's in play, and then we go from there and play the market open. So if you're going to join us there, we'll see you in the morning. Take care, everyone. Have a great night, and bye for now.